Hello children, I am here with the third part of the same lesson, the Union Legislature. Today we'll discuss about the powers of Union Parliament, types of questions, the 0R, various types of motions, the procedures relating to ordinary bill and money bills, amendment of the Constitution. Then we'll learn about the mutual relation between the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. First, we learn about the powers of the Union Parliament: legislative powers, financial powers, control over executive, constitutional function, electoral powers, and judicial functions. Now, let us learn about the legislative powers. The legislative powers comes under the Union and the concurrent list. The Parliament can make laws on 97 subjects contained in the Union list and 47 subjects contained in the concurrent list. Then what do you know about residuary powers? What do you know about the residuary powers? It can make laws on a subject which is not mentioned in any one of the three lists. Which are the three lists? The Union list, the state list, and the concurrent list. Now, what is the importance of the state list? During the proclamation of emergency, so the legislative powers is used during the time of proclamation of emergency, when the state comes in conflict with discharge of international commitments made by the central government. Then during the breakdown of the constitutional machinery, and this times the legislative powers are used. Now, let us learn about the financial power. Now, what are the financial powers? The budget, the supplementary grants, and the vote on accounts. When you talk about the budget is presented in two parts, namely the railway budget and the general budget. Then comes the supplementary grants. If the amount sanctioned under the demand for grants in a financial year is found to be insufficient, if the grant is insufficient, the government can make a fresh demand for supplementary grants. Then comes vote on accounts. So vote on account is a measure to authorize the executive to draw money from the Consolidated Fund of India. Now, what do you know about the control over executive? The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. So what are the constitutional functions? A bill has to be passed in both houses by a simple majority or by a two-third majority as provided under the Article 68 of the Constitution. Now comes the electoral functions. Now, what do you know about the electoral functions? Both houses of the Parliament, along with the members of the state legislative assemblies, constitute the electoral college. So what they are doing there? Through the electoral college, they elect the president, the vice president, speaker, and deputy speaker. That is what the electoral functions of both the houses, that they select the president, the vice president, the speaker, and the deputy speaker. Then comes the judicial functions. Now, what are the judicial functions of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? Power to impeach the president or to remove a judge of the Supreme Court or High Court according to the procedure laid down for the purpose. So, power to impeach the president. Why? How they impeach? When they violate the Constitution. When they violate the Constitution, they have the power to remove or to impeach the president or to remove the judge of a Supreme Court or a High Court according to the procedure laid down for the purpose. Now let us learn about the types of questions. What are the different types of questions? State questions, unstated questions, and short notice questions. What do you know about the state questions? State questions are the questions the member desires to get oral answers. The unstated questions means the member desires to get written answers. And short notice questions, the questions which are asked, which is giving more public importance. These are the three types of questions. Now, procedure relating to ordinary bills. Now, what are the procedures relating to ordinary bills? There are three readings. First reading, second reading, and the third reading. And the first reading, the member gives the introduction of the bill. The member asks for leave to introduce the bill. And the second reading, during the second stage, we can say it as a second stage. The bill is discussed in the Parliament, select or joint committee as a whole or by clause, we can say. First reading, they are introducing the bill. And the second reading, when it comes to the second reading, they jointly sit as a whole and clause by clause, they discuss the bill. And the third reading, when we talk about the third reading, bill is put to vote. These are the procedures of the related to ordinary bills. The procedures relating to ordinary bills. The first reading, the second reading, and the third reading. First reading, they introduce the bill, or the member asks for a leave to introduce the bill. And the second reading, that is, the bill is discussed in the Parliament by the select or the joint committee as a whole or clause by clause. Then the third reading, that is, bill is put to vote. These are the procedures relating to ordinary bill. Then comes procedure relating in respect of money bill. Now, money bills. We have already learned when we are learning about the Lok Sabha, a money bill can be introduced in the Lok Sabha only, or money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. At the same time, a money bill must be recommended by the President. The Rajya Sabha cannot reject a money bill. It can give its suggestions within 14 days. That's why it says that Rajya Sabha is weaker than the Lok Sabha for money bill. So the Rajya Sabha cannot reject a money bill. It can give its suggestion within 14 days. Then Speaker of the Lok Sabha decides whether a bill is a money bill or an ordinary bill. So the Speaker decides whether the bill is a money bill or an ordinary bill. Okay, now let us learn about the mutual relation between the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Now, what are the mutual relation between the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha? When it comes to the legislative relations, okay, regarding ordinary bill, both the houses enjoy co-equal powers. An ordinary bill can be introduced first in either house of the Parliament and cannot become a law until approved by both the houses. So they both enjoy what? Co-equal powers in regarding the ordinary bill. Then it comes to the constitutional relations. As far as the constitutional amendments are concerned, both houses enjoy co-equal powers. The constitutional amendment bill can be introduced in either house of the Parliament and cannot be considered to have been passed unless it is approved by both houses. So in the constitutional relations also, amendments are concerned, both the houses enjoy co-equal powers. Judicial relations. Both the houses enjoy co-equal authority in judicial sphere. As I already told you, they have the power to impeach the President and they have the power to remove the judges of the Supreme Court or the High Court. Simply they cannot remove by 2/3 majority. Okay, and when it comes to the electoral relations also, both the houses have co-equal powers in electing whom? The President, Vice President, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. They both have the same power. Both houses have the power to elect the President and the Vice President of India. And also, both the houses have co-equal authority. Now, both the houses have co-equal authority regarding approval of emergency and promulgation of ordinance. Before concluding this, the Union Legislature, let me take you to some of the important points. So what are the important points we need to learn from this lesson? In between, I didn't tell some of the points, that is summoning of the House. Who summons the Parliament? That is the President. Then who addresses the Parliament during the first session of commencements of the first session? That is the President. And who gives the motion of thanks? It is given by the Prime Minister. Then we need to remember what do you know about the 0 hour? 0 hour starts from 12 noon to 1 p.m. So keep it in mind. What do you know about the 0 hour? 0 hour starts from 12 to 1 p.m. Then comes certain important points we need to keep it in mind from this lesson. That is the term of the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. Term of the Rajya Sabha is 6 years and the Lok Sabha is 5 years. Then we have to remember very clearly that why the Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved. Why? It's a permanent house. Then we need to remember the Speaker's functions. Now, who is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha? That we know, that is a Speaker. And who presides the joint sitting? That is also the Speaker. When it comes to if there is a deadlock between the two houses, then the President calls for a joint sitting. When there is a deadlock, the time who calls? The President calls for a joint sitting. So all these points, you have to keep it in mind. The Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, the functions of the Rajya Sabha, the functions of the Lok Sabha. Then we have to remember the functions of the Union Parliament. Then we learned about the mutual relation between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Very important points. So keep it in mind. So let me conclude this chapter here, and next class we'll start with the history. Thank you.